Good morning. Bonjour. Buenos dias. I still haven't learned the Portuguese. Never mind. This is Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and the Insegna booksellers. And today is Friday, the 11th of November, 2022, and it's Remembrance Day. And at 11 o'clock on the 11th month, we remember those who've gone before us in times of great trouble and gave their life or were hurt, wounded during a time of conflict. We want peace in the world. However, we always achieve peace after so many wars, after a war. So why can't we keep peace when we've got peace? That's the question. So many people dying for their countries because some other country wants to invade them or take over. So, there are two sides to the war, the ones who attack and the ones who have to defend. And not always the ones who attack win, but generally they do, because they think they're stronger and they can overcome the others. And all those soldiers who got to war because governments from time immemorial have had a strong army. If they want to be powerful, they need a strong army. So they need people to do exactly what they want when they want it. I don't know what the answer is. All I can say is we remember them for their sacrifices and thank them. But war is, honestly, it's one of the really hurtful things in life. Anyway, today we remember them and all Australia is doing it. Okay, but I am doing my languages and cultures because this work here I regard as a work for peace. Because when you try to learn other people's languages and cultures, that means you want to engage with them in a peaceful way. Although in the learning of Japanese by the Americans during World War II, there was the audiolingual method was started then in order to drop those those soldiers from airplanes into Japan. So wars cause a lot of changes as well. Okay, well, let's do what we have to do today, and which is this is lesson number 34. Lesson number 34. And as I said, today is the Friday, the 11th of November 2022. Today I will cover French, Spanish and Portuguese. Welcome to Angela Odoricia. So I'll cover the three languages because through the study of grammar, I just wanted to mention that there are 9 parts of speech, there are 4 language skills, there's phonology, syntax. So the study of languages, and there's a lot more on top of that, requires an engagement with them. And I honestly think that languages are better taught to older people, people who have lived. Because when children are learning a language, they need to be surrounded with the language because sometimes, well, most of the time, they don't understand the cognitive part of the language. Whereas if you transfer from one language to another, you already have language number 1, which you know, and all you have to do is learn how to transfer to the other language. Now, because adults are so busy all the time, they always find excuses not to engage in the language properly. But I have seen at evening schools that some adults have become teachers of the language. That doesn't mean that you know the second language as a native speaker necessarily. You actually, when you learn it, you actually improve you can speak it even better than the native. But if then you have problems with phonology, the way you speak, the intonation. I remember when I went to university, I was in Professor McCormick's class, and when I first heard him speak, I thought, what's that guy doing over there? He doesn't even know how to speak Italian. But he was Scottish, and he was a master of Italian, and he produced a wonderful grammar book, and we've used it for many, many decades, and it's still available, and it's a fantastic work. But then lately, when I have gone into these classes here online, I've done a bit further research, and I've seen that there are a lot of elements of the language that were not included in those in those grammar books made in Australia, which we used for many years. But in terra di ciechi, chi ha un occhio è Signore. In the land of the blind, he who has one eye is Lord. So in other words, we are here away from Italy itself. But even in Italy, there were problems with the language, because Italian is a constructed language. It's not the language of the people, because the language of the people is the local language, what used to be called dialects, which I avoid using anymore, because I think when you use the word dialect, it's a put down. So Italian is a constructed language. French is a constructed language. Spanish is a constructed language. And there are varieties of the national language in the local areas. That's it. It's 11:33. I started a little bit later, so I'm going to go straight into what I did from last week. So we're doing the adjectives at the moment, because we said that learning words, adjectives, and verbs is the main task of the adult. The quicker you transfer those three into the second language, the quicker you will learn it. Okay, and you do that. We're going to do that through reading, through the song, etc. Adjectives ending in E, U, or E-I-U. Adjectives ending in EU or EIU add X to form the plural. Hébreu, hébreu. Beau, beau. Nouveau, nouveau. Le livre est beau. Les livres sont beaux. The exception is bleu. Bleu, bleu, with an S. The feminine plural is regular. Belle, belle. Nouvelle, nouvelle. Bleu, bleu. La peinture est belle et les peintures sont belles. Here, let me show you. There are wonderful books here at Insegna, and there's a guy who knows all about them too. He can provide some direction. I don't call it advice, it's my opinion, because advice is when you come here and you actually ask for it. That's when I'll give it to you. Okay, see, look at that. Adjectives ending EU or EU. Hébreu with the X at the end. Beau, except for bleu in the plural, is bleu, EUS. And also in the feminine it's regular, so you get belle, belle, etc., etc. Okay, now let's go to the next one. The next one is adjectives ending in IL, like légal, loyal, médiéval, royal. And it's légaux, loyaux, médiévaux, royaux. L'ami est loyal, les amis sont loyaux. Exceptions are banal, fatal, final, natal, naval. There are more exceptions than that ones follow the rules. It's not quite true, because they didn't give you all the ones that follow the regular. The feminine plural is regular. Loyal, loyal, etc. Same as before. So here we go. Have a look. There you are. Légal, loyal, médiéval, royal. Légaux, loyaux, médiévaux, royaux. Notice the accent on the légaux, médiévaux. So the accent is on that first syllable. L'ami est loyal. In the plurals, les amis sont loyaux. Now, these are the exceptions. Banal, fatal, okay, natal, banal, fatal, you get an S rather than you change that to a. The feminine plural is regular. Loyal, fatal, loyal. La loi est légale. Les lois sont légales. Okay? Now, those are the rules. Then you've got the exercises. Am I going to do the exercises today? I'm not sure. I'll just put it down and see what happens. Maybe I'll just do a little bit. See, rewrite the following sentence in the plural. Le film est incroyable. Le film est merveilleux. La robe est bleue. La note est mauvaise. La loi est légale. Le château est beau. Le chandail est bleu. L'homme est gros. Le coup est fatal. La maison est nouvelle. La tomate est parfaite. Le mot est final. So what's important here when you do this exercise, that you know the word and the nouns. Film, for example, robe, note, loi, château, chandail, homme, coup, maison, tomate, mot. I'm not going to do that for you now. It's no use. You have to do it. It's because the adult is an independent learner. He's not at school. And unfortunately for us, in today's world, you know, we've got the University of the Third Age. Some people want to be treated like little children. No, you are adults. An adult is an independent learner. He doesn't need to have exams. He doesn't need to be treated like a child. And there are some private schools, of course, that charge a lot of money to do just that. People want to be, and they never really learn the language anyway. They just go there for the fun of it. Because at the end of it, you cannot learn a language the way a speaker is, unless you actually practice that language in the environment in which it is spoken. So in other words, when you go to Italy, that's when, or to France, or to Spain, that's when you'll speak those languages. So all this is preparation for that experience. Now, if you're never going to go there, you can still enjoy the language by doing the singing and doing the plays. In other words, you don't have to go there in order to become a fluent speaker. But can you honestly speak the way a Roman speaks in Rome? When you're learning a language, you can't. No, but you have to accept the fact that languages learning is cumulative and it depends very much on memory and use. So you have to know the words, etc. And as we grow older, I'm looking for that word sometimes. Can't find it, you know. The cells have gone. So the more we practice, the better it is. Complete the following with the correct form of the indicated adjective. Les romans sont intéressants. Les pièces sont merveilleux. Les châteaux sont médiévaux. You know, I'm just reading them out, and then, you know, if you're interested, come to me and I'll provide the resources. And if you come to the lessons in the University of the Third Age, I'm in North Baldwin on a Wednesday, just enroll. It's free of charge. I don't get paid. No one gets paid. It's all voluntary, a volunteer. And when you're a volunteer, you can come and go as you please. But if you do enroll, please stick it out for at least the term that you enrolled in. It's not fair, really, to just drop the person who's running the show when you start with 15 and then 10 of them dropped in the second week. You know, it's not good at all. If you're going to stick by it, you know, do it properly for one term and then you leave. It's fair enough. But it's okay. Well, you do whatever you want. It's volunteer. But even as a volunteer, you have some obligations. I have an obligation if I volunteer for anything. Okay. Les livres sont nouveaux. Ils passent les examens finaux. Les hommes sont grands. Les chandails sont bleus. Les poissons sont frais. Ce sont des accidents fatals. Les murs sont épais. Ce sont des décrets royaux. Les peintures sont beaux. ces lois sont légales. Les questions sont intelligentes, les robes sont bleues, les garçons sont heureux, ces tableaux sont beaux. So that's all I'm going to do today for the grammar. So because the chapter here on adjectives and adverbs is quite huge and extensive. And really it's not the French. It's not French. It's not French. When you're doing grammar, it's about French, not French. Remember. Huh? Now we're going to do some reading. L'ennemi de l'État, which I read last time. Welcome to Josie Molika. I read last time. I'm going to read it again. Okay? And then I'll do just a little bit with you to show you, again, these resources I have here at Insegna. Okay? L'ennemi de l'État. Monsieur le consul, je ne sais pas pourquoi on m'a amené devant le tribunal de Bordeaux. Vous me voyez, le visage couvert de sang et le front couvert de sueur. Je ne sais pas pourquoi on m'a frappé, pourquoi on m'a cassé la jambe et le bras. Je ne comprends ni pourquoi on a déchiré mes vêtements, ni pourquoi on a lancé des pierres tout en m'appelant espion et ennemi de l'État. J'étais tellement heureux d'avoir l'occasion de visiter ce beau pays. Vous savez, aux États-Unis, on voit dans les revues l'élégance et la beauté de la France. La France, pour moi, c'était la mode, la bonne cuisine et le bon vin. So let's have a look at the words. Here, there it is there. So if you want to learn French, you have to know the words. So identify the words in this piece. Le consul, monsieur, le monsieur, le consul. There are two words there. Je ne sais pas pourquoi. There's no words there. On m'a amené, no words. Devant le tribunal is a word. Bordeaux is a proper noun. Vous me voyez le visage. I'm not going to say couvert de sang. That's the adjective. We're doing the words. Only the words. Couvert de sueur, le sueur, sweat. Je ne sais pas pourquoi on m'a frappé, pourquoi on m'a cassé la jambe, le bras. Je ne comprends ni pourquoi on a déchiré mes vêtements, les vêtements, ni pourquoi on a lancé des pierres, les pierres, tout en m'appelant espion, ennemi, état, three words, one after the other. J'étais tellement heureux d'avoir l'occasion, another word, de visiter ce beau pays, le pays. Vous savez, aux États-Unis, another one like Bordeaux. Okay, on voit dans les revues, l'élégance. It's another word, la beauté. And la France, again, proper noun. La France, pour moi, c'était la mode, la bonne cuisine, la cuisine, le vin. And then you go back again and you say, let me check out the adjectives. Monsieur le consul, je ne sais pas pourquoi on m'a amené devant le tribunal de Bordeaux. Nothing there. Vous me voyez, le visage couvert de sang et le front couvert de sueur. Le front, I didn't mention before. Je ne sais pas pourquoi on m'a frappé, pourquoi on m'a cassé la jambe et le bras. No adjectives. Je ne comprends ni pourquoi on a déchiré mes vêtements. Yes, mes vêtements, mine. In this case, the adjective is a personal, what do they call them? Anyway, it doesn't matter what they call them. Mais, moi, même, possessive adjectives. Okay? Ni pourquoi on a lancé des pierres tout en m'appelant espion. So, in other words, a couple of adjectives in there. J'étais tellement heureux, heureux because of the verb. J'étais, I was, the imperfect tense of être, okay? So you got heureux is an adjective. L'occasion de visiter ce beau is another adjectives. Vous savez, aux États-Unis, on voit dans les revues l'élégance et la beauté de la France. Pour moi, again, that's the adjective that I was like me. Possessive adjectives. C'était la mode, la bonne cuisine, le bon vin. Le bon et bonne. They are the adjectives. In that first half, for l'ennemi de l'État, number one. Okay, so if you had the book, I would say do the rest of it. Okay, so I'm not going to stop. I'm going to stop there because I want to enjoy myself as well, and I'm going to pick up. Where's my book of? Well, I have to here. Let me. Here we go. Okay, so that's that. We've done that. That's very good, like that. The fact that we've done it, and now we have to do something. You remember, you have to sing. Singing is very important, a very important activity for adults learning a language, because you can sing in the park when there's nobody around. Or if you want to show off, then you can sing aloud. La vie en rose by Edith Piaf. Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche. Voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi pour lui sans la vie. Il me l'a dit, la juré pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens en moi mon cœur qui bat. Des nuits d'amour à plus finir, un grand bonheur qui prend sa place, des ennuis, des chagrins s'effacent, heureux à en mourir. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est toi pour moi pour toi dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, la juré pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens en moi mon cœur qui bat. La 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 la. I've been struggling with this song all year, and I still don't remember it because I haven't made a big effort to learn it off by heart. Des yeux qui font baisser les miens. So I need to have the words in front of me. And the singers, and when you're on stage, you have to learn the words off by heart. Now, if you want to practice the language, then you do a song like this every morning. You have breakfast every morning. Sing a song. Nobody hears you. And that's when you capture the language not in the country where the language is spoken. Because then you've got non, rien de rien, and then allez, venez, Milord, nous s'assoit, and then you've got also tout tombe la neige, tout devient, and then the next one is la nuit, etc. Okay, so French, the learning of French is easy. The learning of any language is easy as an adult. Don't let them tell you that that's not the case. TomPadula says adults learn languages faster than kids if they really want to. Away from the country where the language is spoken, because then the child in that place there will engage with other children, and they don't have, some of them learn it very quickly when you're surrounded by it. Because when at the University of the Third Age, we do 1 hour a week, and they've got about 30 hours, not even 40 hours for the whole year, because they take breaks, etc. How do you expect to learn a language in 30 hours? if you don't do any effort, if you're not really serious about it. It's the same with music, maths, all the cumulative subjects, they're all there. Unfortunately for languages, with children in schools, they expect it to go like at McDonald's, order a hamburger, and you get it straight away. Otherwise, they get really disappointed, unless they like you. So if they like you, they stay with you in the class. It's got nothing to do with how much you know of the language yourself. It's whether you're attractive to them, to whoever. But someone is attractive to somebody else, and then when you've got to be tough, etc., that's when you lose your popularity, whatever. Some people understand it, some people don't. So there you are. So that's French, and it's 11:52. I've got another little bit of time, and this time I'm going to dedicate it to the Parlons Français. Let's speak French. These are the numbers now. I've finished that first lessons 1 to 4 in this book, and we're going now with 5e leçon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I asked one of my students, I asked my student to learn the days of the week, the months of the year, the seasons and the numbers. And I say, without looking at the book. And some people, even after 3-4 weeks, can't do it. But unless you really make an effort to it, those are basic things. So how do you expect to learn a language unless you put some effort into it? And these are the things that are basic. The days are lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche. Janvier, février, mars, avril, mai, juin, juillet, août, septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. Le printemps, l'été, l'automne et l'hiver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 7, etc. And you got to 21, 22, 30, 40, 50, etc. Now here we go. Exercise in preparation. Monsieur, quel est ce nombre? What is this number? Monsieur or mademoiselle or madame, quel est ce nombre? Ce nombre est 20. Et ce nombre-ci, and this one here, ce nombre, you give it a name, 10. Est-ce que nombre est plus grand que... Est-ce que nombre 10 est plus grand que nombre 6? Oui. 6 est moins, un nombre moins de 10. So you can change it a little bit. Oui, il est plus grand. Non, il est plus petit. Okay. Et nombre et 17, est-ce qu'il est plus grand ou plus petit que 19, que 20? Il est plus petit. Okay, 17 is less than 20. Now, this is all practice. But the problem is, doing just this is boring after a little while. Sequence dialogue. Madame, mademoiselle, monsieur. Madame, mademoiselle, monsieur. Quel est ce nombre? You have a little card, this number here. C'est ce nombre ici, and this one here, and you show them. C'est 9. Est-ce que 9 est plus grand que 7? Oui, il est plus grand que... So you get the numbers, you can practice. Et 3, est-ce qu'il est plus grand ou plus petit que 7? Il est plus petit. So these type of exercise, very good when you have a little group of people who don't know French and they're having a cup of coffee, glass of wine, some pâté, cheese, and they can practice. It's a game. And then you have your numbers, you put them up, and parlons français, that's what the book says. Let's speak French. But when you learn a language too, it's not just about speaking. It's about listening to the films, to radio, to songs. It's about speaking one-to-one to a whole group on stage, etc. It's about reading books, including the great works of French literary figures. And then writing. You start with short sentences. Okay? And then as you move on with the language, that's the way that you as an adult can learn it fast. But you need resources, and you need more than the resources, interest, enthusiasm, consistency and patience. La pazienza. You can't get there straight away. So you've got to be happy with the journey. I'm here. This is lesson 34 today. Lesson 34. When I started, my journey started, but now I'm in lesson 34. And I've covered quite a bit, and I intend to cover even more. And what was the reason for my doing these lessons? It was for me. I wanted to engage with me, because I've been to France 3 times, for 3 days each time, in Paris. That's it. In my younger days, when I went dancing, there was a French girl, I'd drop everyone else to dance with the French girl, because I wanted to speak French. Can you imagine that? But the French, that's, you have to have a real love for it. You got to do you can do theatre here in Melbourne. You can go to French theatre. It's a very successful company. So, they have, festivals in the 14th of July each year. There's a French consul here. Have I attended those? Yes, once every blue moon. I've never had time. So that's my excuse. But I felt really bad within myself for not doing it, even though I've got a degree in French from Melbourne Uni, 3rd year. And, Angela Odorizia was there at the time. So these are the reflections that you need to make as an adult. You want to learn another language? Yes. Well, be fair. Go in there with real passion, interest, and come to the University of the Third Age. And there are about 100 places now, 100 locations in Melbourne. So, if you really want to learn, find one of those locations close to you, volunteer to teach, to learn something else. They've got 200-300 subjects. You can go for a walk, do photography, learn the violin, whatever you want to do. It's something but learning a language keeps the dementia and the Alzheimer's a bit away. It's sort of la pratica, practice. Enough of my promotion of French, because there you can also do the same thing for Spanish. And I'm going to read some Portuguese after. Because in my Italian class, I'm doing the Roman times, I'm reading in Latin. It's beautiful, wonderful. But one of these days, I'll start with Chinese as well, online, and I'll shock you on how to do it. Okay, it's not that bad at all. So here we go, that's it. We've done everything I wanted to do. I should really do one more song, before I go anywhere else. Okay? What about Tombe la neige? Huh? We do Tombe la neige? Yes. Here we go. Tombe la neige, tu ne viendras pas ce soir. Tombe la neige, et mon cœur s'habille. What you do, you get one of these, you go to Chrome or to Google or to the other one, and you just write Tombe la neige, and then the words come up. Okay, and then you can follow, and also then you can listen to the original singer. So I expect people in my classes to have these, one of these, and the books, and you. The most important of the three is the person who's interested. Okay? and you know, and takes initiative for the learning of the language. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to do something else now. I'm going to find out one song called, let me see, called, what's the song called? Vagabondo. And then I put lyrics, and then I write Spanish. And then I got to go, and, well, let me have a look. I said lyrics. Yep, I got it here. Okay, now, I've got the words, all right? And we're doing Spanish now. So here it is. Cuando la gente duerme, voy abajo, suéter en los hombros, en la noche azul, en el corazón una guitarra, en la mente cosas raras y en mi rostro un poco de ingenuidad. Vagabundo, vagabundo, algún santo me guiará. He vendido mis zapatos por una milla de libertad. Solo no se vive, sin amor no moriré. Vagabundo, estoy soñando, delirando. Las piernas van solas, la calle parece un río, quién sabe a dónde irá, ni siquiera tú, muchacha, sabes parar mi carrera, en tus ojos no hay sinceridad. Vagabundo, vagabundo, algún santo me guiará, he vendido mis zapatos por una milla de libertad. Solo no se vive, sin amor no moriré. Vagabundo, estoy soñando, delirando. So, when you do this song in Spanish, what the important thing here is that you're not going to get, you know, the chorus line, the chorus of the song is actually the easy part. Vagabundo, vagabundo, okay? Like the singer. The other ones are harder. So when you find it hard, you just read the words. Yeah, you do it like Domenico Modugno. A few words, some singing, and you get there. And the more you listen to the song, the quicker you get to it. And also, then you get the words, la gente, duerme, voy abajo, suéter en los hombros, the men, la noche, the night, azul, azzurro, you know, and then you got the adjectives there. And el corazón, the heart, una guitarra, or guitarra, I'm not quite sure. And la mente, mind, cosas raras, una cosa rara. En mi rostro un poco de ingenuidad, etc. Ingenuity. Vagabondo, qualche santo mi aiuterà. You know, so you can do the translation as well, and you pick up the words. And if you learn the language already, learning another language is very easy. And if you're an adult and you really want to, now as I said, I pick up now, because I've got these books here in Portuguese, let's say, and I got to Portuguese, and I've just opened up on page 144. Os factores de insegurança na origem das dependências. As invasores exteriores. It's a Latin-based language. It's a Romanized script, so you should be able to read it. And I read Turkish, for example. When I read Turkish, I've got a few Turkish people that I know, and I said, how am I in Turkish? Said, oh, you read beautifully. I don't understand a word of it. Or very few, anyway, very few. Because depending on, on what language it is. But with Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. I don't have any examples of Romanian. I used to sell them, but I don't have enough books downstairs for Romanian. I'll have to pick up one just to check out the way Romanian actually works, because the 5 languages are derived from Latin. Okay? So that's that for Spanish as well. Now, from Spanish, what we want to do is want to do a bit of grammar. Okay, a little bit of grammar. What's the time? Yes, we'll do a bit of it. In this new country, Pancho studies in English, his English book wherever he goes. Tell us where he studies in a complete sentence. Use the Q in parentheses. Pancho estudia el inglés en la clase. Pancho estudia también en el dormitorio. So here they are. Again, resources, important in a language. In this new country, Pancho studies. Pancho estudia el inglés en la clase. Dormitorio, dormitory. Pancho estudia también en el dormitorio. Frankie studies in the bedroom too. También. So Frankie studies in the bedroom too. The también also means also or too. Avión de México. Pancho estudia el inglés on avión de México, in the plane going to Mexico. And el ciudad is the city. Coche, don't ask me. Casa, house. Treno, same as in Italian. Tell where else you listen to English. Avenida, iPod, canciones, that's what we did just before. Calle, that's calle. Notice that calle in Venetian, in the calle is the street in Venetian, because the Venetians were in Venice at one stage as well. Telenovelas in English, well, we know that from what we learn on television. Su hermano Pepe lee el inglés mucho. So her son, his brother, Joey, reads English a lot. There you are. Tell what else he reads. So this one of those books that engages you. Tell what else he reads. He reads periodico, libro de gramática, dizionario, vocabulario, novela en inglés. Diccionario and vocabulario. Two different things. Do you know the difference? I'll have to look it up. Pepe y Pancho miran ahora el hotel importante, el Hilton. Joey and Frankie now look at the important hotel, the Hilton. That's a good, how much money they give them to include them in this book. The Hilton, huh? Tell what else they now look at. Ciudad de Nueva York, Metro, calle importante de Wall Street, televisión interesante, programa favorito, mapa de toda la nación. Isn't it beautiful? And then recombinación, tell us the story with an appropriate selection, el or la, write an X if no article is necessary. La muchacha entra en la escuela, en escuela, en Avenida de las Américas de la ciudad de Nueva York. Su profesor, el señor Valdés, habla español muy bien. La clase estudia la lección de español y escucha idioma en la radio, o radio, WhatsApp y en telenovela. Su clase práctica el inglés también, also. Profesor Valdés lee el periódico en inglés, sí. El profesor Valdés lee mucho en el tren y también en la casa por la noche. And then you got the situations, the role plays. You begin your first Spanish lesson. Your friend Carlos wants to know your impression. So, Carlos, ¿cómo es el español? And you say, el español es muy bien por mí. favorito, buono idioma, importante. He also wants to know what you need for the class. You tell him what you need in 2 complete sentences. Carlos, ¿qué es necesario? Necessary. Yo necesito libro bueno, profesor bueno, disco de español también es importante. Situation 3 is there is one television set. Your older brother or sister does not want to watch your favorite soap opera tonight and tells you to study. You give reasons for not studying tonight and for watching television. Hermano, el examen de español es mañana. Tell whether the Spanish test is on. Es importante estudiar ahora. Yeah. And then, es posible estudiar con la música de Il Pod. Yo no quiero mirar El amor y la pasión. Tell the name of another soap opera that is also your favorite on la telenovela. Well, playing around with this, you've actually done quite a bit of Spanish. Okay, for today. The last bit that I wanted to do for Spanish, again, I did this book here, El Cid. I've got a few copies of this. This is one of the important works of Spain. And when I began, with my Spanish, I wanted to read it in Spanish. So I'm going to read it now with you and see, because I'm an adult, so therefore I can try. A child would not do this necessarily without direction. Here we go. Batalla contra el conde de Barcelona. There we are. Se unen al bando del Cid de Caballeros de Castilla y León. El Cid marcha entonces por las tierras del sur y el este de Aragón, que estaban bajo el amparo de Don Ramón de Berenguer, conde de Barcelona. El Cid había herido en tiempos pasados a un sobrino del conde y no había enmendado su ofensa. Por esta razón, el conde le tenía rencor al Cid. You can pick up, the rancor, this Cid, a bit of translation. Yeah, with a bit of translation, you could manage quite a bit of this language. El conde de Don Ramón reunió un gran ejército de moros y cristianos y salió contra el Cid. So he organized, a great number of soldiers. Christians, Moros, that means Muslims, whatever. Díganle al conde Don Ramón que no me tome esto a mal, de lo suyo nada levo, y que me deje ir en paz. Pero el conde respondió, lo des antes y lo de ahora todo me lo pagará el desterrado. Again, I won't bother you with this anymore because I've had enough. You get tired too. And, today I'm going to finish with cheers. I've done a bit of the Portuguese. Now I have to go downstairs because at 12:30, my program on channel 31, 44 on your dial, is on at 12:30. So I sort of finish here and go downstairs, have a look at what they've played for me, etc., etc. So I keep interested. That's the key. Please follow me. On Sunday I'll be doing Canto 17 in Purgatorio. Very interesting Purgatorio. I didn't think I would get as much enjoyment out of it. And yesterday I did world history. So, but because I'm getting to the stage where I'm getting to lesson 60, I think with the Christmas coming on, I'll be doing a few more weeks, and then I'm thinking of taking a break, but then every time I take a break, then I miss it. Because it's not heavy work for me. It's just something I love doing. All right, on that note, thank you for your company from Tom Padula of TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insenia Booksellers. And now, adios.